Hey guys. Okay, what's this week been like? It's been all over the place. Some sunshine, a lot of rain, ridiculous wind, mild and then cold, and then yeah, it's been one of those roller coaster weeks. I finally got round to doing my musk video. I'll be putting that out as soon as possible. The first musk, so that's going to be like golden musks and yeah, so like warm musks, the things that I really, really particularly love. I'm going to be talking about one of those today, but then there'll be a bigger video, hopefully on Wednesday. Okay, so I'm going to start with. This was a weekend one. I mean, it's just an absolute classic. This is Jeanne from Lanvin. It's a beautiful, beautiful, yummy. I think of it as like a raspberry musk, but it's raspberry and blackberry. It's a raspberry and freesia musk to me. That's what I think this smells like. And it genuinely has the vibe of a really fancy bar of soap, Oh, just fits in there. So Jeanne has notes of blackberry, pear and lemon in the top, middle notes of raspberry, peony, rose and freesia in the mid, and then base notes of musk, sandalwood and amber. It's super musky. If you know what Modern Princess smells like, I always think of that as like the sister to this perfume. So Lanvin Modern Princess is, I think that one's also got freesia. It's like freesia, a beautiful, gentle, sweet red apple, and then again a very beautiful kind of bar soapy musk that almost leans gourmand because it's so creamy and pretty. And this is the like raspberry blackberry version of that. I also think that really this is very similar to the Philosophy Falling in Love, but that one's kind of slightly less soapy, a bit more tangy and a little bit sweeter and more gourmand. It's kind of more sugary in a way. But I mean, I love them both. I just love them. So this is like, it's really easy to wear. It's really light. So it's really good for people who are very fussy. It's really good for like office wear, that kind of thing. You could wear this like under almost any circumstances and just smell like you've just washed your hands with a beautiful, really posh, like fruity soap. Oh, it's so pretty. And the interesting thing about this one is that although it's very, very light, I can smell it on me forever, and especially if I get it on my clothes. I find that the longevity on it is really actually very good. But like I said, it's just really light wearing. It's just a very kind of subtle perfume with a very intimate scent bubble. Absolutely love it though. Always highly recommend it. I think the Lanvin perfumes I have, I really love. And this and Modern Princess are my absolute faves. So, right, next up. Oh, this is one my sister got me for my birthday in January. Finally gave it a wear. So, this is Sweet Tooth by Sabrina Carpenter. As you can see, it says it on the side here. It's a bit of a weird bottle because I don't know if it will come out and you can see it here, but it's ever so slightly transparent where they have the, because this is glass, painted glass. So it's a slightly different colour. It's like a slightly darker, muddied pink. And then this is a dense kind of pastel pink. And it irritates me slightly because it doesn't look like one thing. Anyway, it's a stupid complaint to have. But it's not one that's in my display. Even though I like the kitschness of this. And to be fair, if I ever get room to have a little kitsch display, this would be in there. But yeah, I kind of wish it was all just one colour. But scent-wise, and you can get this in the UK now in a few places. So I'm just going to push it against the wall there. So this has notes of marshmallow, chocolate, candied ginger, and bergamot in the top. The middle notes are Madagascar vanilla, coconut milk, jasmine in the mid, and then base notes. Don't take any notes of me, I'm very childish. Base notes, whipped cream, sugar, cashmere, wood and musk. This is, to me, a woody vanilla. It smells very similar to, in fact, almost identical to fresh cream, warm cashmere from Philosophy. I actually just sold that one that I had because I had a not entirely full bottle of that I got from eBay, which I did enjoy wearing it, but there was a slight gourmand biscuity tone in that I wasn't mad for. very similar to that kind of the same kind of thing I get with a lot of the Sol de Janeiro nutty scents, where it kind of, I don't know, it makes it smell a bit stale to me when there's like a certain type of nutty note, and that's what came across to me in that one. So I got rid of that one. I decluttered that one because when my sister bought me this is such a similar experience to wear, almost exactly the same, but without that kind of biscuity vibe. It's a woody vanilla, slightly creamy. I do get a little bit of the dark chocolate, but I don't find it massively marshmallowy in a kind of fluffy way, if you see what I mean. I don't think it's got quite the same obvious marshmallow that some of my perfumes do, or at least some, especially my old ones. Like I had one that was called Festival Night from Hollister, and that one was a very, very obvious marshmallow. It had a powderiness to it. It was very glucosey, sugary, if you see what I mean. And this one I think is more vanillic, and it's very woody. Yeah, I mean, I really like it. I think it's definitely worth having if you like sweet things. I wanted to wear this before the weather warms up too much, and I really enjoyed wearing it. This one also, honestly, lasts longer. I think it's about the same strength in terms of like the projection. And yeah, so like the actual scent and how much it projects, how much I notice I'm wearing it, almost identical to Philosophy. But this one definitely lasts longer than the Philosophy. The Philosophy one I get maybe 3 or 4 hours out of max. I could, yeah, more like 3 really. I could smell this one for most of the day. You know, it lasts better, but it's not strong. It doesn't project particularly strongly either, but super pretty. All right, a very different vibe going on here. A musky, fresh, clean vibe that is hardcore ISO-y super. So if you don't like ISO-y super, this is not the one for you. It's one of the strange kind of random scent molecules that doesn't irritate me, because I get very irritated and I really dislike a lot of aroma chemicals, but ISO-y Super just seems to be one that works for me. This is Calvin Klein Obsessed for Women, although it absolutely smells unisex, entirely unisex, because this is a very kind of sage heavy, musky, slightly sweet perfume. It kind of smells, it's not that it smells like not a perfume, but it is that kind of vibe of a perfume. One that's, I think, supposed to be slightly invisible. Like the beautiful bottle. I love this bottle. I don't know. I mean, I think you can still get this one relatively easily, but I don't know that it's in production anymore. It's just, it's sweet, it's musky, it smells like aromatics, and it's kind of slightly skin-like. But it's not like overtly like woody or anything, but it's a weird smell, but it's really pretty. So it's citrus, elemi, neroli and bergamot in the top. Middle notes lavender, sage, violet leaf, orange blossom, lily of the valley and rose. Base notes musk, amaretto, ambrette and ISO-y super. There is ISO-y super in this, definitely, but it's not just that. There's a huge amount of sage, there's a bit of lavender, definitely elemi. Now, I don't know a huge amount about what that is. I think it's, it looks like tree sap or something. Maybe something a bit balsamic. I think I've smelt other perfumes with that in, and I recognise that same note in this, if you see what I mean. Like it's quite recognisable, which means I think it's probably quite strong in here. Yeah, it's super unisex, really pretty, light, easy to wear. This is one of my kind of cool, clean girl smells. So if you can imagine, like, if I'm going to wear a white shirt with some jeans and a leather jacket, that's the kind of perfume that I reach for, along with like Katy Perry's Indie, if that gives you an idea of that kind of thing. I will at some point do my version of like the clean girl aesthetic and like the cool girl aesthetic and all that kind of stuff. So I guess this is like a cool clean girl. All right. Next up. Oh yeah. So I actually wore this to work. So this was how I was going to decide. So last week I was saying there were a couple of things that I probably was going to declutter because I didn't know if I could really get on with them. One is Vanilla Musk, and that one, I love sniffing it, but I find it really difficult to wear. So that one I'll pass on, the Coty Vanilla Musk. But this one, I wore it to work and I absolutely loved it. And I think what it is, this is Melilot. I don't know how to pronounce it. From L'Occitane. It's spelt like Melilot. That's not, I imagine, the French way of pronouncing that word or that flower. But I think I got it wrong last week because I didn't realise there was another L in it. I'm slightly dyslexic. I sometimes make these mistakes. But this one, if I don't put my hand up right to my face, if I don't directly sniff my skin, which obviously when I'm going to work, I'm not sitting around just sniffing my arm or sniffing my skin or whatever, then this creates the most beautiful scent bubble. Like, I couldn't really get too much of a sense of that kind of bitter, tarry smell that I was worried was in here when I was actually wearing it, which suggest it's probably not the tar smell that I get in other perfumes, because again, like, when that takes over, it's like all I can smell, and that wasn't the case with this one. So I think I think it's a bitter green hazelnut smell, and I've smelt like a green hazelnut in another perfume which I found very bitter. So I think that might be what it is. I think that with the cedarwood and the general kind of branny, wheaty vibe of this was what I was like, oh, I'm not sure if that's comfortable. But to actually just get my own scent bubble, it was super comfortable. It was sweet. It was pretty. It definitely does have like that musky kind of pear-like smell from like Cloud, and from actually something else that I wore. Oh, what did I wear that smells? Oh, I'm wearing it today. What am I talking about? God is a Woman. So I'll talk about it next week because I got the body spray, but it's got that same kind of pear note with a beautiful kind of musky undertone, but then this has a slight kind of biscuity, bran-like smell that's kind of fluffy and feels like it's related to Scarlet Poppy, you know, that kind of scent. So this is pear, galbanum, carrot seed in the top, middle notes of hazelnut, melilot or sweet clover, and hay in the mid. Base notes of bran, cedarwood, wheat, and vetiver. So yeah, I so enjoyed wearing this. It was really, really pretty, and yeah, I mean, I totally recommend it. And I think if you like Scarlet Poppy, you'd really like this. Probably if you like things like what's it called? Oh, Seductive Red, that kind of thing. It has a very similar pear note, but with just a slightly, different twist on it. Really nice. Really not getting rid of that one, keeping it. Okay. Now we have a musk. A beautiful, warm, sweet golden musk. Okay, so I've had this for a little while. This is what I was buying when I bought the other random Mayfair perfume called Orchid Paradisi, which cost me about £3. I think this perfume was maybe about £8 or £10, and this is 100ml of a cologne spray. And I liked it when I got it, and I put it to one side to do the musk video, and then I just gave it a full wear test this week. This is Just Musk from Mayfair. This is a very, very delicious musk. I can't believe how cheap it is. And the thing is, I feel like all of my favourite golden musks are really cheap. Like all of my favourite warm musks. I rarely come across anything that's expensive that smells as nice as Jovan, Wild Musk, or Skin Musk. This is a new fave. This is definitely a new favourite. It is sweet and syrupy, powdery, fluffy, warm, cosy. So the notes are top notes of coriander, bergamot, and lily of the valley, middle notes rose, iris, and jasmine, base notes musk, sandalwood, and cedar. And this is beautiful warm musk, gorgeous creamy sandalwood, a spice from coriander that I'm not sure I would recognise as an obvious coriander, but there's something slightly warm spicy in here, but not like in an opium way, not that spicy. And then it's rose and iris to me. I don't get much lily of the valley. Maybe like jasmine a tiny bit, but I wouldn't really have pulled it out as jasmine. I feel like it's the rose and iris I'm smelling here, and I get very little bergamot. This one doesn't really smell very fruity to me at all. Oh, it's so... If you like musks that have an almost slightly baby powdery smell to them without actually smelling like a childish perfume or a baby powder, just give you that kind of cozy, clean but warm vibe. Oh my goodness, this is. I mean, I want to wear it again. I feel like this would be perfect for people who like to wear perfumes to bed. I honestly, I put it on on a morning, so I must. Yeah, I wore this at the weekend, so I put it on in the morning, thinking, while I want to smell yummy. I just got up, wanted to have my coffee and my breakfast, and just say good morning to my husband and all that kind of stuff. And then I wanted to smell nice. Obviously, I always do. I like putting on a perfume first thing in the morning, and then I thought I'll have my shower and then I'll put something else on. And I didn't. I just loved this so much. I just wore it all day and I kept reapplying it. So it's relatively cheap and it's a cologne spray. But I think when you first spray it, it's really strong. And then it really turns into just the most glorious skin scent. So I think maybe this lasted for... I reckon I could easily smell this for about 4 hours. Probably more, but sometimes these kind of musks really go under the radar. Probably, someone else could smell me. But I get very used to it because it's quite a natural skin scenty prettiness, I love it. I love it. If you can get this, it's amazing. So obviously this is in my video that's going to come out this week, my musky video. And it's heavenly. It's just so heavenly. I think, like, outside of Skin Musk, which nothing is ever going to be above Skin Musk to me. I love that perfume. I do like Wild Musk. In fact, I love Wild Musk, but I think this is above that. This is above Jovan for me. Genuinely. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I prefer it to Jovan. I really love Jovan Musk too, but this... It's the coziness. It's just so cozy. I think it might be the coziest of all of my musks. So, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right. Then we've got... I'm getting through this one because this one lives next to my bed. This is Chill Out by Oriflame from the Feel Good range, and it's really just quite a simplified version of the Montguerlain profile. So it's like, it just lists lavender, vanilla and cedar here, and it does have a woodiness. It's got an obvious vanilla. It's got a really, really obvious lavender, this one, even more so than in Montguerlain. But it has like the vanilla-iness from a Montguerlain Intense, that kind of thing. But it also definitely smells like there's licorice in here to me. Really does. I like it before bed. I like it on my sheets sometimes, but generally this is one I spray on me. I just got so obsessed with this kind of profile that, and because I've got Montguerlain now, I've got Montguerlain Intense, and I've also got Guess Seductive Noir. So this one just feels like one that I'm just happy to use up because I have all those other ones that are the same profile. I love it though, and I think it's brilliant, and it's probably the cheapest out of all of them. So it doesn't last the longest. It's probably the most fleeting out of all of those, but it's delicious. It's so lovely. It lasts much longer in warmer weather, but it's quite sweet. So it tends to be one that, I mean, I kind of prefer that profile in colder weather anyway, but it's so lush. So I love it. Oh, yeah. Okay. Next up. I haven't worn this one for a really long time, and I was genuinely just looking at it and going, I really need to wear that. But this is one of those perfumes that when I smell it from the bottle, I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's all right. But on skin, it does something different. It's really pretty. But it is quite unusual, I would say. So this is Lovely Lights from Sarah Jessica Parker. I've just got this little baby version because I think it was only about £6, this 30ml. This is one that I particularly like in colder weather. I'm not sure why it works so well, but I think it's because it's like a creamy floral. So it doesn't smell like springtime to me. It's not got that kind of spring floral vibe, because it's quite dense. It has like an actual texture to it, this perfume. It's got a slightly powdery texture, but also a very creamy texture in a completely non-gourmand way. Like, it's super unusual. And I think I've said before, but like the only thing that I can really compare it to in terms of like the actual texture and how that smells is Dolce Garden, because that one to me, that smelled like flowers in coconut yogurt with loads of sugar, like icing sugar. That's what that one smells like to me. This one smells like flowers in something less acidic, less screechy and sharp. So more like a creme fraiche or something, and with less powdered sugar. So it's got a sweetness and it has a creaminess that isn't like sickly, but then there's a lot of flowers. Almost like if you imagine crystallized flowers sprinkled on creme fraiche or something. That might sound insane. That's just the kind of vibe it's giving me. And weirdly, this is a musky neroli perfume, and I really struggle with neroli. I often don't like it, and I think that's part of what kills Dolce Garden for me. I kind of like that perfume, but I find it sickly while also being very piercingly screechy. That the screechiness in that, the piercing note, is in all of the Dolce & Gabbanas that I've smelled, like, since the red cap old ones. Those ones, I could get on with the really old Dolce & Gabbanas. So, like, I'd love to get hold of the red cap again. I haven't smelt Pour Femme, you know, the marshmallow floral one, for so long. I don't remember what that smells like anymore. But everything that I've smelt, like maybe in the last 15, 20 years, has been just, I don't know, just really unpleasant. There's always something in that house DNA that I don't like. So that's partly the problem with Dolce Garden for me, is that I can recognise that there's really nice things about that, but it's piercing while also being exceptionally sweet and quite strong. This one is more subtle. It's more musky. It has a very green neroli when you first spray it, like hardcore green, bitter neroli. But when it dries down on my skin, it's a sweet, glorious musk. There's more honeysuckle. There's definitely some cashmere wood. So have I even done the notes yet? Top notes of neroli, honeysuckle, or mandarin orange. Middle notes are gardenia, cashmere, and jasmine. Base notes, musk, amber, and sandalwood. Glorious sandalwood in this as well. But I think it's musk, neroli, honeysuckle. That's kind of the general vibe. But yeah, I don't know if it's the gardenia that makes this super creamy and the amber that makes it sweet. It's unusual. It definitely is. But I really like it. So the other thing to mention, this top comparison is to Allure from Chanel. And if you remember, I smelled that one recently and I totally understand what people are saying. This is like a really easy version of something like Allure. It doesn't smell like Allure the way that Benetton Hot does, because that smells just like it. That's definitely like a dupe. This isn't a dupe, it's just in the same family, if you see what I mean. It's so pretty. Maybe that's why I like it. I love the smell of Allure, but because there's so much jasmine in that perfume, and the same with Benetton Hot, I've never really been able to wear it comfortably. I will try Benetton Hot again before I actually get rid of it, because I wonder whether, like, the older I get and the more perfumes I try, maybe I might be able to be okay with that one. But normally that jasmine gives me a bit of a headache, so I might try it again though, because I do love the smell of Allure and I love that Allure EDP. So yeah, it definitely has a bit of a vibe, and I think if you like Allure, you'll really like it. I think if you like the dry down of June, you'd really like it. I think it's got that slightly woody, floral, warm, creamy yumminess. This is definitely creamier. It's not quite the same. It's like, it's a different texture to Allure, but it is a very similar profile. So yeah, I've been talking about that one for ages, but it's one that I haven't worn for so long that I'd kind of sort of started to forget what it smells like. So how are we doing for space? I'm just going to move this along because I've got a little thin guy that I can put here. Oh, I'm going to have to sniff Just Musk again in a minute. Oh, and talking of sniffing delicious things. Before the weather warms up too much, I wanted to wear this one again. This is Far. If you can see, it says Far From and Fragrances, which is Simon Constantine, ex-Lush perfumer. This is his company. This is just a little 10ml of the Eau de Parfum, and it is bloody lush. It smells like it smells like my mum's key lime pie specifically, but that's like a lemon and lime cheesecake, if you can imagine, like a no-bake lemon and lime cheesecake. The notes they give you here are kaffir, lime and yuzu. middle notes of mandarin orange and labdanum, base notes of biscuit, but it smells slightly creamy, very sugary, and very citrusy, and it's a really natural smelling, delicious citrus where you've got the oils and the peel. Like, it's like you've just got a little bit of the grated, um, peel in there, just a little sprinkling of it along with the juices. And yeah, it's got that same, I don't know, it's just so pretty. And this is kind of what I expected, is it called acro bake to smell like? And I think this is probably what a lot of people smell when they smell acro bake. But with that one, same with Devotion, all I get is chemicals. It just smells like aroma chemicals. This is all beautiful natural ingredients, natural oils, and it smells natural, and it's absolutely lush. If you like a very realistic gourmand, oh my goodness. And I can smell the biscuit, but it smells almost like a digestive biscuit, and it doesn't have that same overwhelming kind of stale smell that I get with some notes that are a bit biscuity. Oh my god, it's just so lush. Oh, it's what I actually want to eat, and I kind of want to eat myself when I wear it. Weirdly, I'm not mad for this one around the house, but I absolutely adore wearing it out of the house. When I wear it out, I want to keep respraying it. It's absolutely lush. It's light. It is an eau de parfum, but it's quite light. So yeah, it's a bit of an investment, and I think once I get through this 10ml, if I'm still really digging it, then I might actually invest in a full bottle of this, like a 50ml, because it's pretty special. It is really delicious. All right, so last but not least, so I was watching Chris on the Perfume Nest, and I have had this in my to test list on Fragrantica for ages. And funnily enough, I had it on the list because I love the bottle. I really love this bottle. But Chris had it on her video for like nice perfumes in horrible bottles. Which is amazing, but that's the joy of this kind of thing, is like we might often disagree on things, but this is a good perfume. So I managed to get a sample of it on eBay. This is a unisex perfume, and it is super unisex. So this is CK1 Gold, and it has like a CK1 bottle, a classic one, but it has this dripping gold down it. And I think it's a gorgeous bottle myself, but then I don't know, I just kind of like dripping, like I love gold, I love metallic bottles as well. So yeah, I mean, that's the inside though. It says juicy fig freshener, sparkling neroli and vibrant vetiver. But there's much more going on here. So CK1 Gold, this is one that I tried and I absolutely loved the smell of it, but I also find it a little bit too masculine leaning for my own personal taste. Although I would say it's definitely, and arguably, it is very unisex. It's the most unisex CK1 I've smelt. Generally speaking, when I smell a CK1, I always think they're too masculine for me. I've like the first one smells masculine to me because it's such a classic now in terms of like a citrusy light perfume. And I think just so many men wore that when I was young. You know, a lot of people did wear it, but there were so many men who wore it that it just sort of became so synonymous with like dudes. You know, I just smells a little bit masculine to me. Every other CK1 I've ever smelled that's supposed to be unisex, I think just smells like a masculine cologne. This one doesn't. This one definitely does smell unisex. But there's something about it, probably the vetiver, that I was like, I think I'm going to prefer this on my husband to on me, even though I couldn't stop sniffing it, because this is a beautiful fig perfume. It's so, so pretty. It's like a really wearable fig. And I think that's quite tricky because I've come across perfumes with figs in that are either hyper realistic to the point where it's a little bit uncomfortable to actually smell like a fig, like Philossicus, right? I really think Philossicus is beautiful, but I don't think I'd be able to easily wear that and actually literally smell like a fig. And then I've had some that are too earthy, like way too earthy to the point where they start to smell a bit muddy. And then I've had others that are just so sweet that it's so sickly. You know, it's just too syrupy. You know, when you start to get that kind of baked fig and honey kind of smell, then it's just too sweet. This is a perfect fig, like truly a perfect fig. And it's notes of fig, bergamot, and sage in the top. middle notes of neroli, jasmine and violet in the mid, and then base notes of vetiver, gaiac wood and patchouli. So I was like, I don't know if I like this because of those base notes, but it's really gorgeous. It really is. And if I just, I'm just going to spray out a little bit. I did actually ask my husband to wear this and he did smell lush in it. I would, if he didn't already have enough scents for now, I would totally buy him a bottle of this, but he didn't really comment on how he felt about it, so I'm not sure that he was massively bothered. But it does actually give me a little bit of a vibe of some of the 4711 scents that I find lean a bit masculine. It's really, really nice. I can definitely smell a little bit of that sage for sure. I don't really get much in the way of neroli, jasmine and violet. I think there's just a very, very subtle floral, but I wouldn't have been able to pull out what it was. This is bergamot, fig and sage and vetiver. I also think there's musk in here. It doesn't list musk, but it's definitely got a slightly musky smell. And the more it dries down, the nicer it is. It's just really lovely. It's just definitely really, really pretty. If you like diptyque style fragrances, and if you like really unisex fragrances and you like fig, I think you would love this perfume. I think it's gorgeous. And I'm really fighting with myself because on one hand, I love how this smells and I would really like to smell it around the house and I'd really like to smell it on my husband. And I'd kind of like to wear it, but I feel like I just wouldn't reach for it because if I wanted something that was fresh and beautiful, a little bit fruity, a little bit sagey, I have so many perfumes that already have all of those kind of feels to them. And I think this one just feels to me like something I'd much prefer on a man. But my goodness, it's so pretty. It's really nice. So yeah, I think CK1 Gold is really delicious. It's a beautiful perfume, a fabulous fig perfume that has some lovely aromatics in it. Really, really gorgeous. I'm not getting a huge amount of smokiness from the gaiac wood, so I'm not sure I'm saying that right, but whatever. But yeah, vetiver, fig, bergamot and sage I think is the main vibe here. I'm not getting a huge amount of patchouli either. I just think the more it dries down, the more beautiful it gets. Really, really nice perfume. So yeah, CK1 Gold. It's all shiny. It's so pretty. Yeah. I might be on my own here. I just really like that bottle. I think it's cute. All right, I think that's it for this week. I don't think I have anything else to add. Let me know if any of you guys have this. Oh my goodness, let me know if you have just musk because, oh, I'm just going to sniff it again. Absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious. I hope that you guys liked my poison video and I hope that you like the musk one that's going to be coming up. And I will see you next Sunday. I hope you have a lovely week, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget, if you watch me regularly but you're not subscribed, please, please, please do subscribe because it makes a massive difference to my YouTube as a content creator to have, you know, the more subscribers I have, the better my channel is going to do. It just makes a massive difference to me. So thank you so much. Bye, guys.